The third period starts, and the Arizona Coyotes shut her down. They lock it down. The Philadelphia Flyers get absolutely nothing. Brendan Hope gets a shutout, and the Arizona Coyotes are officially an NHL Dynasty. Yeah! That's right, boys. Your Arizona Coyotes have done it. 3 Stanley Cups in 4 years. I don't care what anyone says. We are officially a dynasty. And you know what? When you really go back and look at some of the stats that we've racked up over the last 2 years, before we lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets in the Stanley Cup final 3 years ago, right? The last 2 Stanley Cup runs, we've won 8 NHL playoff series without having to go to an elimination game against ourselves. Basically, we have yet to have a team in the last 2 years take us to 3 losses in a single series. The Philadelphia Flyers, only 2 this year. The Dallas Stars, we swept. The San Jose Sharks got 2. The Anaheim Ducks got 1. Last year, we were 16-3 in the playoffs. Not a single team got more than 2 wins against us in a playoff round, right? So I go back to what I said before. This team is built for the playoffs. We are a playoff juggernaut, and for the 4th year in a row, making it to the Stanley Cup Finals, and 3 times out of those 4 years, winning the Stanley Cup. So it's been a fantastic 10 years here in Arizona. All good things must come to an end, but it's not a sad day. It's a good day. When I first came here, Arizona was nothing. No one thought the Arizona Coyotes were a viable NHL team. They could barely sell out their building, even in a playoff game, all right? But 9 straight seasons to the playoffs, giving us a competitive chance to win that Stanley Cup, made our viewers want to watch us play hockey a lot more. And then in the last 4 years, really competitive. Trips to the Stanley Cup Finals 4 years in a row, right? So it's been a fantastic 10 years, like I said before. But GM Superbman's got to move on and allow somebody else to take the helm of the Arizona Coyotes over, all right? So let's get up to the retirements here. We'll get the offseason done. We'll take a look at how our team grows for next year, all right? We're going to do a whole GM mode wrap-up in this video, so don't you worry. So before we get any farther in here, while it's simulating, yeah, blah, 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 we can go through some of the last fan art that we have, and I want to thank you guys for sending in the fan art in the comments. This made GM mode a lot better, so I'm looking for more for the next GM mode, all right? So first up, thank you, GM Superbman, from the fans of Arizona. They know what the general manager did for their team in the last 10 years, so absolutely, man. Thank you for the opportunity to turn this team into a dynasty, Arizona. PS4, NHL 24, Brendan Hope is on the cover. Finally, we got EA Sports to put a goalie on the cover. It took 3 Stanley Cups, maybe 3 Conn Smythes and a Vezina, but Brendan Hope is finally there. So your Stanley Cup champions, the Arizona Coyotes, very nice. Next fan art, Kings of the Desert and Kings of the NHL. So let nobody say that it can't be done with a 75 overall player on your team. It's not about just getting high overalls on every number. You got to find the right roster, the right combination. And Captain Keith Yandle, man, he was the glue that kept this team together over the last 10 years. Even though his old legs are really starting to fall off from underneath him, man, the guy is still a champion, a leader, an absolute beast. King of the NHL, King of the Desert. Oh, Hank Hill, is he all right? Now I can die in peace. You ain't dying, Hank. We won the Stanley Cup. You're going to make a full recovery, son. Don't you dare start on me. And if you do die, I still want that propane, all right? So come on now, Hank Hill. We have hope. Superb first rounders. Oh, look at this one. Okay, so 2014, 2015, Barzell and Ryan Pilon. 2015, 2016, Jesse Mills. We'll say just 2018, Doug DeVree. 2019, Petrie, Lou Morris, the Grinders. So that was the big draft year right there, 2019. 2020, Rupert's. 2021, Little. I think we also had Gordon in there, but Gordon didn't play any NHL games, right? Fair enough. 2022, Stroshine. 2024, end of an era, a.k.a. the Superbian era. All right, very nice. See what I mean, boys? Just like the Detroit Red Wings in the real life. You gotta draft strong. You gotta draft in the first round and develop those players. Free agency and trading, not the way to go. Next up, keep calm and howl on. That is the slogan of our 10-year run. All right, 9 straight years in the playoffs, 4 trips to the Stanley Cup. Just keep calm and howl on. Keep pushing forward. Next up, oh man, this is a lot of info on this one. This was the draft. Petrie and Morris drafted by Arizona. Together, they spurred the Coyotes to the finals 4 times, winning 3 Stanley Cups and becoming a dynasty. But what if GM Superbman drafted Dan McKenzie instead? History has been made. They kept calm and they continued to howl on. Exactly. No doubt Dan McKenzie's a great player. 90 97 overall, but I'll take two players that can really impact a team over one player any day of the week, all right? So Petrie and Lou Morris, definitely the right way to go. And last but not least, the two captains of our team, offensively, Anze Kopitar, and defensively, Captain Keith Yandle. These guys were really the rocks that held our team together, you have to say. Anze Kopitar, when we picked him up in free agency, we signed him to like a 7-year deal. He played out that deal, re-signed another contract with us, right? So he's been here a long time, and Captain Keith has been here for 10 years in a row, but these guys have really led our team, all right, in the playoffs, all the tough times, absolutely. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone for the fan comments. They are great. So I want to see some creativity going forward. I want to see the graphic designers really come out for our next GM mode, man. There are plenty of opportunities for some funny comments and fan art that we haven't even gone into just yet, all right? We've just scratched the surface with this stuff. So I want to see you guys go really creative in the next one. So here we are at free agency. I hope I didn't ruin it. No, it doesn't show anything for Arizona just yet. So let's see if Captain Keith Yandle and Anze Kopitar, for that fact, let's see if these guys are coming back for one more year or if they're going to go out with GM Superb, man. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to sort it. Team Arizona, Captain Keith Yandle. He has retired. All right. So he finally decides to hang them up. Anze Kopitar is coming back for one more year, so that's good news. He could be a third liner. All right, but Captain Keith, here are his stats. Game played over 1,250 games, 1,283, my God. 189 goals, 574 assists, 763 points in 1,200 games. Pretty good, man. Above a 0.5 point per game defender. Very nice, very nice. All right, any goaltenders here? Did we lose anyone? No, I wouldn't say. No. All right, so we didn't have to lose, what's his name, Anze Kopitar, but Captain Keith, what the hell? Oh, I'm in centers. There you go, skaters. Captain Keith Yandle is deciding to retire. So thank you, Captain Keith. You were fantastic for us over the last 10 years, but all good things, like I said, must come to an end. So Captain Keith, he's going out on top, man. He really is. He'll be remembered here in Arizona for a long time to come. So let us go through some of the awards here, some of the stats, all this good stuff. Player stats of the playoffs. Yeah, we'll do this. Player stats of the playoffs. Let's see who really stepped up for us. I'm thinking that Brendan Hope got another Conn Smythe. He had to, man. He put up some serious numbers. And when you go through the playoffs without having to go to an elimination game against your own team, you know, you're winning a lot more games than you're losing. That's for damn sure. So I think it's going to be Brendan Hope with the Conn Smythe. But look at that. Nail Yakupov, 17 points in 21 games played. Lucas Petrie. So our first line right winger, our second line right winger, the two snipers getting it done point-wise. Good job. The Big Mac, 14 points. Anze Kopitar, he's deciding to come back for one more year. He's 81 overall, but still, I could definitely use Anze. Fourth on our team in forwards for points, so that's nice. Matthew Barzal with 10 points. A little bit low, but again, it's a team game, right? Our team dominates, so everyone's doing their job. Pierlini with 9 points. Lou Morris with 9 points. Jesper Anderson, got to re-sign this guy. 7 goals, 9 points. Very nice. Dylan Strome, 9 points. The Little Mick, 8 points. Zach Smith, 5 points. Bo Horvat, 5 points. Stroshine, 0 points. He only came in because he only got 2 games played. So everyone who played got a good amount of points, even our fourth and third liners. Defensemen. All right, Darcy Jones, 15 points. Tyson Berry, 14 points. Nicholas Malak, 12 points. Ekman Larson, 12 points. And Victor Gordon, 2 points. All right, so we don't get to see what Captain Keith did for us. I think he had an overtime goal in there. But yeah, here, oh my God, he won the Conn Smythe for sure. A 1.64 goals against average in 21 games played in the playoffs. 16-4-1. And a save percentage above 90. For God's sakes, Brendan Hope. Whoever said that this guy wasn't the real deal. It's not about the overall number. It's about how he plays. And my God, this guy tore it up, especially in the last 2 seasons of the playoffs. Look at this. Look at his playoff numbers in the last few years. Actually, last year was 2.32. It wasn't that good. Yeah, but man, this year he really tore it up. My God, look at those numbers. Yeah, he definitely won the Conn Smythe. There's not even a question about, I know for a fact you won the Conn Smythe. I haven't even taken a look at it, right? So there's your Stanley Cup. We're going to go into the awards now. Stanley Cup, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? 3 out of 4 years. Those damn Columbus Blue Jackets, Emerson Edom, they broke up a real good thing, but you know what? Whatever. President's Trophy, that's one thing that did get away from us. We won it there in 2020, 2021, but I believe we only won the President's Trophy one time in 10 years. I built this team for the playoffs, not the regular season. Clarence S. Campbell, the Western Conference champions, 4 years in a row. That's very fantastic right there. Prince of Wales, Philadelphia Flyers. The East has been a new team every year. Art Ross, Steven Stamkos. Hart, Steven Stamkos. James Norris, Justin Schultz. Lady Bing, Steven Stamkos. Calder, Ronald Reeves. Conn Smythe, Brendan Hope. There it is. So Brendan Hope's a three-time Conn Smythe winner. Good God. Vezina Trophy goes to Chase Marchand. Brendan Hope won it last year, so three-time Conn Smythe, one-time Vezina. He's the real deal as a goaltender. William M. Jennings, Chase Marchand, Bill Masterton, Brendan Camilleri, Frank J. Selke, Jonathan Taves again, Ted Lindsay, Chase Marchand, Maurice Richard, Steven Stamkos. All right, so there you go. There are the awards. Playoff tree. Done all this. Now we've done everything. Yep, so it's a time to sign off, boys. We're not even going into the draft because that's the next general manager's job. I have done my last day in office, all right? So the next GM has taken over, and I actually hear that it's Captain Keith Yandle, who's the new general manager of Arizona. So he's not even taking any time off. He's gone from the on ice to off the ice. In the manager's box right now is Captain Keith, or not Captain Keith, GM Yandle. Oh, GM Yandle, all right? So thank you again, boys, but I know you guys want to see how these players shape up for the next year in preseason, so let's jump to preseason. Okay, so we're up here in year 11's preseason. Captain, or GM Yandle, I got to get used to that now. GM Yandle has gone through the free agency, re-sign stage, and done what he needed to do with the Arizona Coyotes. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys the lineup, and we're also going to simulate 1 year here, all right? I'll edit it for you guys, so it's not going to be that long. We'll go to the All-Star break, then the trade deadline. We'll see how long, or we'll see if the Arizona Coyotes can get back in the playoffs, all right? But because I'm not the coach, I'm not the general manager, it's best lines. Whatever it is, it's best lines. I already got the right players on the team, all right? So you got the Big Mac with Barzell and Lucas Petrie. Lou Morris, Kopitar is a second liner still at 79 overall with Nail Yakupov. Brendan Pierlini with Bo Horvat, and Anderson. Jesper Anderson is getting the chance to play on the third line. They're putting Dylan Strome on the fourth line with Zach Smith and Stroshine. The little Mick has been relegated to a depth player, it looks like. Let's see. Korostelov is up here. The little Mick and Gortson for depth players. The little Mick is now 2-star at 75 overall. I can understand that. Plus, you want to get Stroshine, the young, in some ice time, all right? So I can't make any line changes. Man, I think that would be better. Strome for Anderson, but you know what? I'm not the coach. Best lines is whatever it is. Defense, Darcy Jones with Malak, Ekman Larson with Barry, and now our two young defensemen that we drafted, Gordon and Rupert, all right? So that looks slightly better, I suppose. Power play looks like that. All right, looks pretty much the same. Penalty kill, Horvat with Lou Morris, Zach Smith with Lucas Petrie on the penalty kill. Interesting. He might be a 40-goal scorer now, a few more goals from that. And goaltender, Brendan Hope, all right? So there you go. There's our lineup. That's how GM Yandle sees it. So let's see if the Arizona Coyotes, without Captain Keith, without GM Superb, man, let's see what kind of season they can have, all right? So we'll go to the All-Star break. All right, so here we are up at the All-Star game, and look at this. Not a great record, 19, 19, and 10. So hopefully Brendan Hope and the rest of the Arizona Coyotes can turn this around. Notoriously, we have been slow starters and playoff performers, right? So 4 straight years to the Stanley Cup Finals is going to weigh on these guys, and they no longer have Captain Keith out there to lead them. But it's not a lost cause just yet. 19, 19, and 10. We do have a lot of losses so far. 48 points, which is not the greatest. It could be Dylan Strome on the third line. He's not there anymore, right? But you just got to keep calm and howl on. It's not my job to edit the lines, boys, so I'm not going to. So let's get to that trade deadline. All right, so here we are after the trade deadline, and look at that record. Not very good. We were 19, 19, and 10. We seem to go 1 for 1 since that time. The Arizona Coyotes may be on the brink of not making the playoffs for the first time in 10 years because GM Superb, man, is not there. The wild card is still open. A lot of teams are very even this year. Look at the Central Division. Chicago's only got 69 points, right? But, I mean, we got to start winning games right now. We got to go on like a winning streak. So let's get to the final 5 games, let's say. Oh, man, it's not looking good for the Arizona Coyotes. The 3-time Stanley Cup winners in the last 4 years are on the brink of missing the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Without Captain Keith Yandle on the ice and without GM Superb, man, the team is falling apart. Anze Kopitar's getting up there in age, and I don't think it's possible that we make the playoffs, boys. There's only 5 games left, but if you look at the standings, we're second last in our division, only 76 points. If we want to catch, Yeah, we want to catch Anaheim for the final wild card spot, but they're already 10 points ahead of us, right? So, yeah, man, the Arizona Coyotes are definitely going to miss the playoffs. You know what? I think it was Coach Yandel or GM Yandel. I don't know why Dylan Strome was playing the third or the fourth line. He should have been on the third line. And again, Anze Kopitar being a 79 or an 81, whatever it was, maybe it was time for him to play the third or fourth line, and Bo Horvat should have came up, right? But again, GM Superbman is already on a beach, drinking those beers, having a nice time, relaxing. I can't worry about it. GM Yandel's got some learning to do, all right? So, oh my God, the Arizona Coyotes. Everything starts again, though. You got to go through that rebuild once again. 10 years is a long time. It's no Detroit Red Wing run where it's 24 years in a row where you make the playoffs, right? But 10 years, and we have the youngins that we don't really need to go through a rebuild. You can come back next year, but get rid of some older players like Ekman Larson, Barry, Kopitar, you know what I mean? And then you can go forward. Yakupov might even be able to be traded away now. Go with the Barzell, McMillan, Lou Morris, Petrie, Malak, and what's his name? Our savior, Darcy Jones. You go with those, and then you build from the back end. We also didn't have the little Mick playing on our team. What's his name? Smith. Zach Smith. They all got a little bit lower in overalls, our fourth liners, and we finished the season 33, 36, and 13. Oh my God, really not the greatest. Oh, last in our division. So after winning the Stanley Cup 3 times in 4 years, the defending Stanley Cup champions come last in their division. Oh my God. But at least because of this year, we have a 1, 2... looks like a top 5 pick, it looks like, right? So let the rebuild begin, but I can't worry about that. So let's quickly just take a look at the stats for the season. Let's see what our team did wrong when I'm not here in Arizona. Yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have the top 4 pick, chance at the first overall pick. The worst pick that you get would be 5th overall. So a top 5 pick guaranteed. That's not that bad. At least you get to bring somebody in here. But goals for per game, 29th in the NHL. So that was one stat that was great for us in previous years. We can't score goals. I think Anze Kopitar on that second line wasn't the way to go. And also Ryan Strome on the, or Dylan Strome on the fourth line wasn't the way to go, coach. I wouldn't have had those lines that way. Goals against per game. We were a very good defensive team, though. That's incredible. 3rd best defensive team in the NHL, and we still didn't make the playoffs. Oh, man, our offense was really bad this year. It must have been power play percentage last in the NHL. Holy crap. Yeah, it was our lack of offense. Penalty kill percentage, 7th in the NHL. So we had a fine defensive year. Last 10 games, 3-6-1. It was our offense, our lack of offense. So let's see who did not show up offensively this year for us. I'm thinking it's Anze Kopitar. That's a big flaw in the second line center because not only does he not produce, he brings down Nail Yakupov, and Lou Morris is a grinder already, so that even brings down Yakupov even more, right? So Lucas Petrie only had 62 points, and he was our leading scorer. Matthew Barzell only 57. The Big Mac only 48, so that first line really didn't do much for us this year. Nail Yakupov only 41 points. Yeah, there it is. Anze Kopitar, 34 points. Lou Morris, 27, but he's a grinder. It was Yakupov and Kopitar. Even our first line really didn't get it done either, right? So, yeah, really bad year. Setback year. Yeah, Dylan Strome on the fourth line. That was not the way to go, coach. Defenseman. Let's see this. Oliver Ekman Larson led our team 44. Darcy Jones with 42. 18 goals. Wow. Malak had 13 goals, 25 points. Rupert Gordon. Corton I had some injuries. And then goaltenders, let's see, Brendan Hope, 2.36 goals against. Save percentage of 92.28. Brendan Hope had an okay year. It was our lack of goals for. In previous years, we've been able to score a lot more, right? So that's pretty rough. Let's see GM Tracker. Let's see this. How many goals for? Yeah, look at that. Only 201 goals for this year compared to last year where we had 256. This year where we won the President's Trophy, we had 209 goals against. This year we only allowed 2 more goals against. So we were actually one of the best defensive years that we had. The 4th best defensive year that we had for goals against, and yet we only have 79 points on the year. So it's our lack of offense, and I think it's time in Arizona that some trades be made, all right, to take this team back to its former glory. So, you know what? It's bad news, but you can't do anything about it. Initially, I didn't want to do the simulating because I didn't want that to happen, but I'm not there anymore. GM Superbman is long gone, all right? So, once again, I would like to thank all the fans from Arizona. This was a very fun series, maybe even my most entertaining GM mode yet, just because of the fan art that you guys had. It was definitely fun for me, having all the stories like Lou Morris and the drafting with Dan McKenzie and the trades, trying to make it realistic, and you guys saying, no, it's not realistic. Definitely made this GM mode a lot better. And also, I think, was this the first GM mode that we had where we had injuries the entire time? I think the injuries were pretty good with whatever settings we had. We had the injury slider all the way down, but not off. And we had some injuries. I liked it. We had a few years where we lost Nail Yakupov for like 20-plus games. I don't think we ever lost Brendan Hope. We had some playoff injuries as well, right? So, I liked this GM mode. It was a lot of fun. So, thank you, everyone who helped out to make this GM mode even better. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you, Hank Hill. Thank you, everybody. But it's time for GM Superbman to keep calm and howl on.